Hello everybody, this is HockeyPones and you are watching a shift-by-shift video with commentary on 2015 draft-eligible prospect Noah Juulsen of the Everett Silvertips. As with all of my other shift-by-shift videos, this is not a highlight reel. This is intended to be an honest and objective discussion about a player and his strengths, skills, and style of play. There are plenty of highlight reels you can get elsewhere, but as I always say, I don't think it's a fair way to evaluate players. In this game, Juulsen gets a goal and 2 assists in Everett's 6-3 loss. So let's get on to the game. Okay, and so this is a prospect I'm pretty excited about, just for the fact that we're going to see him in a few different situations, which is what I like to see when we're evaluating players. He is on the first penalty killing unit here, and he actually plays this pretty well, and I'm going to stop it here for a moment. Just straightforward, he's making the player to his left a non-factor. He forces the point man to pass to the slot where, I mean, of course that's a little bit more dangerous, but it basically allows the goalie to focus on one particular player, and the pass didn't go through anyways, so it's again just a little thing, but those are the little things that I appreciate when players do things well and they do them right. And so, as I was saying about Juulsen, he is playing on the first unit on the penalty kill, and he's on the first unit on the power play, and he's also the starting defender for the Everett Silvertips. And what I find most impressive about this is not only does he have such a key role on the defensive unit, but he's also, I believe, the second youngest defenseman on the team. And I think the only defenseman who's younger actually has only played like 30 games or something like that, as of this recording, but I don't have everything written down at the moment. And just on top of all of that, Everett is one of the top defensive teams in the league. So putting all that together, I think that this is one of the underrated players, and of course you're going to see some gaffes in this video, as you will see with pretty much any player, but I'm just fascinated by how this player is going to turn out, and I think that unfortunately he's going to get overlooked for one reason or another, most notably because he doesn't really dominate the competition. But I think that when it comes to draft time, I think that he will be appreciated by whoever does draft him. And I don't have the final tally in terms of how long this video is, because truth be told, I break these videos up into different segments just so it's easier for me to break it down and talk about it and edit it out. So I don't know exactly how long the video is going to be in total, but it's probably going to be in the 20 minutes or so, and including all the footage that I cut out just because he wasn't in the screen at all for like the last half of his shift. I think it's, he gets a lot of time. And he's actually going to get a goal here when he's going to just get the pass, and he quickly fires a wrist shot through traffic and it bounces into the net. And so that's how he gets his first goal of the game. Well, I'm sorry, his only goal of the game. He gets 2 assists on top of this as well. Just a quick segue, I also wanted to mention that I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break from adding commentary on some of these videos, just because of the sheer volume of videos that I could make, and I'm getting a lot of different requests on different players. And with me adding commentary, I mean, I watch these videos 3 or 4 times before even commenting on them, and that takes time away from actually being able to create these videos. So just in between, I'm going to have some prospects that I'm going to just do the shift-by-shift videos on, like I had earlier in the season, and it's just going to be random. If there's something where, you know, I feel like I just haven't done commentary in a while, then I'll start doing commentary again. But yeah, so for those of you who like my commentary, I do apologize for that. For those of you who don't like my commentary, you're welcome. Anyway, back to Juulsen. Juulsen is one of those players who, like I said, he's not very dominant in any particular facet of the game, but he just plays a lot of different parts of the game very well. In this particular case, he's going to have a great breakout pass, which is going to lead to a goal. He gets a secondary assist, but his pass just creates an outnumbered attack, which allows, well, it's actually not outnumbered, sorry, it's 3-on-3, but it just allowed his team to build up so much speed to just capitalize on his great breakout pass. Of course, it doesn't always work out that way, but he does show a great breakout pass. Another thing that he shows is he is very physical. If you haven't seen him lay a couple hits yet, that's another thing that I really like about him, is he is just very gritty. He's not very big. He's listed at 6'1", 180 pounds. So the fact that he is willing to do that or play that type of game just has me appreciate him even more. And of course, as he matures and develops his game more and ascends in the professional ranks, he's going to have to add some strength and bulk and just basically give his body a chance to not only dish the damage out, but also to be able to absorb it, because I'm sure the players will be giving it back to him. Those of you who follow me know that I'm a big fan of competitiveness, and there are very few things that show how much more competitive a player is than his willingness to, do the dirty work and, get in the faces of players, especially when that player isn't, that big. It's not that Juulsen is small, but he's certainly not a physical force where he can dominate all the players smaller than him. So I've already talked about some of the things that I like, and I'll just recap a little bit. I like his competitiveness, and that's pretty evident by how physically he plays. I talked about his utility, which is another thing that I really look at in prospects, or at least I hope to see in prospects, and unfortunately those opportunities just aren't always there. But the fact that Juulsen, as one of the youngest defenders on the team, is getting top line minutes at even strength on the power play and on the penalty kill, I think that speaks volumes, especially considering his coach is Kevin Constantine. And he has some good puck skills. The breakout passes are good, and I like that he is able to get quick wrist shots off, and he doesn't have to, fire a rocket from the point with a huge slap shot. He just sees the opportunity and he takes it. And I feel like I'm forgetting something already. But we're actually going to start getting a little bit more critical, particularly in the second period here, where I talk about how he's a very competitive player and he's very gritty, and sometimes it's not just limited to prospects, it's in NHL players all the time, but that grittiness leads to some tunnel vision, and you'll find at times in this video where Juulsen is so focused on making a particular play or hitting a player that he sometimes takes himself out of the play, or he leaves someone else wide open, which will become evident later on. But before we get to those instances, one other thing that I will comment on, not that I put a whole lot of stock in it, as I have said in my other videos, people who have watched the other videos and followed me, I'm not a big critic on skating for a lot of reasons, and there's a few reasons for that. First of all, I suck at criticizing skating, period, so I don't like to comment on something I know little about. But also, it's just something that's very fixable. But nonetheless, I don't think that Juulsen is a particularly good skater, which I think, I mean, he just doesn't seem to be a very fast skater, have good agility or acceleration. So I think that's just something that he'll have to work on in time as he develops and, you know, grows as a prospect. But if other people are better at evaluating skating, then by all means, please feel to correct me. I do think that he does a good job with some deception here. He looks like he's going forward, but then he quickly turns the other way and backhands the pass. And I think it's just little plays like that which helps buy time for a player. And I think that having those instincts are very good. And in this part here, I think Juulsen plays this attack quite well because he sees that the forward is back checking and he'll be able to get to the left wing on time. So Juulsen is able to stray over to the right wing a little bit and attack him and force him to try to make a play. And so I don't know if that was just a very smart defensive read or if that was just part of the tunnel vision, which I think that Juulsen has a tendency to have, and you'll see that more in this video. But either way, all's well that ends well. That was a nice hit by Juulsen right there. But yeah, back to skating. I mentioned before where, you know, it's correctable and I'm a bad judge of it. But also I think that there are some teams where you don't have to be a really good skater. I mean, obviously it helps, but I think that some teams, if you have a particular system where it's more about being strong positionally as opposed to just being able to get from A to B faster, I don't think that it's particularly harmful to have below average skating. I think there are plenty of players who have been successful with subpar skating, whether it's in speed or acceleration or what have you. And at the end of the second here, Juulsen does have a particularly long and grueling shift where, again, this is all just one shift and it's at the end of the period. And Portland is going to get the game-tying goal shortly. And I think that a lot of this is just as a result of fatigue with Juulsen, but I had mentioned before about how he gets tunnel vision and he tends to chase sometimes, and unfortunately for Juulsen and the Everett Silvertips, there's going to be a momentum turning goal that's, you know, in part, I think, because of his decision making. So you see Portland already has a very strong forecheck here, and the game's been like this. I mean, there have been times when I've had to cut Juulsen out just because Everett has cycled the puck well. And in this case, Portland is already turning the tides. And what I have a problem with Juulsen here is he left the front of the net to pursue the puck, and he leaves the most dangerous man on the ice all by himself, where if he's not going to be able to get that puck, then Portland is able to get it, and unfortunately they do. Juulsen also gets a rough start to the third period here, where a bad pass has a big bounce off the boards, and it allows Portland to retrieve the puck, and they score the game-winning goal. And from this point on, well, actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. With Portland, I believe they're on the, not Portland, but Everett, I believe they're on the power play here, and Juulsen is going to get another assist, and this time it's going to be a primary assist. And again, there's just more deception to his game, which I can appreciate. So he's going to wind up here and draw the player to him, and he's then able to fish it over to the right wing, all the half boards, and the player is able to just get that extra second to skate in and take a shot, and it's 3-3. So unfortunately, this is as close as the game gets for Everett. Portland's going to score 3 more goals in the third period here, and this is all on the back of Oliver Bjorkstrand's 6.9. He had a phenomenal night this game, and unfortunately for Juulsen, there were a couple of miscues that he had. I already saw I saw 2 of them where I think he chased the puck behind the net when he should have kept an eye on the most dangerous man on the ice, which was in front of the net, and he didn't do that. But I'm going to stop it here because Juulsen did a good job anticipating the pass that was going to the goal line, and he's already down on his knees and getting low to block the passing lane, and is able to get the puck out of the ice, well, out of the zone. Unfortunately, he's going to follow this up with what I consider a defensive miscue on the same shift, on the same penalty kill, where again he just gets overly committed to taking out a player, making a hit, and it comes back to bite him. In this case, there's a chase for the puck, and they're already shorthanded, and to have Juulsen go after Bjorkstrand when a player is already on him, if he's going to miss that, then there's going to cause problems when he can't contain such a skilled player as Bjorkstrand, and he's able to get the puck to the point, and the pass gets to the front of the net and goes in. So again, Juulsen, I think he misplayed that angle, and if he's going to commit to trying to take out such a dangerous player, then he shouldn't give the player room to skate along the boards and skate around him, because he just wasn't able to contain him. And when you're down 5-on-4 and 2 players are stuck in the corners, then there's just going to be a mishmash of trying to recover and get yourself set up again. But as I always say, these are players, they're 17, 18, 19 years old, and I never look at these videos, or I don't look at these players as this is a game that's going to encompass their career. Obviously Bjorkstrand isn't going to get 6 points a game, and Juulsen isn't going to have defensive miscues and mishaps for the rest of his career. This is just a way for us to look at how players play and where they're strong and where they need to improve. Well, just based off of one game, and even sometimes that's not fair, because sometimes people just have a crappy game. And in Juulsen's case, I mean, it's hard to say that he had a crappy game when he scored 3 points, but at the same time, he's a defenseman, and I think it's important to have defensive miscues. And I've said before, I'm not a fan of comparing prospects to players because that creates unrealistic expectations, so of course I'm going to avoid doing that as well, so sorry about that. I've also said before how I'm not going to really compare or say which teams would be a good fit, because after thinking about it, it really doesn't matter, and by the time these players become professionals anyways, a lot of teams will have managerial turnover, and so it's kind of a moot point. But we're getting onto the last shift of the game, and as you can see, it's 5-3 Portland, and I mentioned that the score is 6-3, so obviously there's going to be an empty net goal here because he saw the empty net. Juulsen is on the ice for the goal against, obviously, and I could have broken that down further, but I've already talked about how I think he overcommits, and sometimes it's just not fair to say what a player should have done in certain cases, and that's certainly the point here. So I didn't want to break it down further for this goal against that's coming up. But as I always say, I want to thank everybody for watching these videos and for giving their feedback and ideas, and I'm really hoping that you're all enjoying them. I'm enjoying making them, so forgive me if I don't add commentary on the next future ones, or for some of them, just so I can try to provide more videos so you can have a better idea. So until next video, I hope that you enjoy and you have a great day.